Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Directv News Mix. I'm Stephanie Stanton. In the next few minutes, I'll get you caught up on the top headlines and I'll keep you updated on programming information you can find on the channels of the News Mix. But first, it is Friday, April 7th. Here's what's happening. 3 members of a ski patrol team in California are dead after plunging into a volcanic canyon at a well-known ski resort. It happened at Mammoth Mountain, where the victims, part of a 4-man inspection team, fell into a 21-foot volcanic vent. They'd been inspecting the mountain after heavy snowstorms and fencing off the gap in the slope. It is not clear at this point if the fall killed them or the gases seeping from the volcano's cavity. Well, President Bush's public speeches, they're usually carefully staged before friendly, hand-picked crowds. But one man broke the mold yesterday in North Carolina when he stood up to tell the president he's never felt more ashamed of the leadership of this country. After the president defended his domestic eavesdropping program, the man identified himself as Harry Taylor and said despite the president's rhetoric, and I'm quoting now, "Compassion and common sense have been left far behind during your administration." He asked the president to exhibit humility and grace by admitting he's ashamed of himself. The president refused. Well, details are emerging now on the 24-year-old woman who was kidnapped a decade ago and held a few blocks from her home by a former school security guard who allegedly raped her. Tanya Catch testified yesterday against 48-year-old Thomas Hose at a court hearing. She said when Hose was working as a security guard at her middle school, he caught her skipping class. The two began talking, then kissing, and before long, Catch was coerced into moving in with him and his parents a few blocks away, where she was held against her will and threatened with death if she disappeared. All right, now let's take a look and see what's on right now on the News Mix. President Bush is nominating a new head of FEMA, and Fox News has all the details. Acting head R. David Paulison is the president's choice and now faces Senate confirmation. And you may want to check out Headline News. They've got weekend box office preview. Physical comedy is the name of the game as Rob Schneider leads the Benchwarmers into theaters. Then, hey, if it's business news you're after, you may want to heed the morning call on CNBC. You can learn about the retirement of Ford's longtime COO, Jim Padilla, after a 40-year career. Check it out on Channel 355. Then more top stories on MSNBC Live. On the bottom row, you can get the 411 on a series of tremors that apparently struck the area near historic Hearst Castle in Central California. Then CNN Live today joins the party on Channel 102. 9/11 victims had their day in court, and certainly it was no party for them as they recalled loved ones who were lost in that disaster. And finally, are you going to enjoy a weekend full of beautiful spring-like weather? Check out the Weather Channel's Day Planner to find out. Now let's catch what's coming up later tonight on the Directv News Mix. Fox News Live continues on Channel 360 with all the morning's headlines. And tonight, the network's Bill O'Reilly looks at the next co-host of the Today Show and whether she can bring along some baggage to the studio. Find out at 8 Eastern.
Tonight, as Meredith gets set to take over Today, is she America's next sweetheart, or will her anti-war stance hurt her? On The Factor, we are the #1 name in cable news. Fox News Channel, America's newsroom.
Coming up on the News Mix, a legislative slugfest over immigration and an historic baseball bat hits the road. We're back in a minute.